Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about golf. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. Golfers have a term, birdie, which means shooting one stroke under par. But you ever wonder where that came from? Legend has it, early golfers coined the term after a player accidentally struck a bird in mid-flight with his golf ball, causing it to drop directly into the hole. What do you think? It makes for an incredibly dramatic story of luck on the green, but is this really how we got one of the most unique scoring terms in sports history? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is links. That's Links. Many people will use the word links as a generic blanket term for any golf course or country club, but it's actually used to describe a specific type of golf course usually located along a coastline. True links courses are defined by geographical and geological characteristics of the land. These courses are built on sandy, undulating terrain that connects the ocean to farmland. There are minimal trees, deep bunkers, and highly unpredictable winds. Because the sandy soil drains water very efficiently, the ground remains exceptionally firm, which fundamentally changes the way the ball rolls and bounces during play. Unsurprisingly, the word links comes from Scottish origins, just like the roots of the game itself. It was derived from the Old English word hlink, Hlinc, meaning a rising ground, bridge, or bank. Historically, the coastal scrubland was considered completely useless for farming because the soil was too sandy to grow viable crops. Since the land couldn't be farmed, it was instead used for public recreation, which provided the perfect natural landscape for the invention of golf. And that's why some of the oldest and most prestigious golf tournaments, like the Open Championship, are strictly played on these historical coastal landscapes. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about golf. Number 1. While golf is famously associated with Scotland, in 1457, the King of Scotland actually legally banned the game because he considered it a threat to national security. King James II of Scotland actually outlawed the game of golf throughout his entire kingdom. At that time, the Scottish military was deeply focused on defending their borders from ongoing English invasions. The king noticed that his soldiers were neglecting their mandatory archery practice in favor of playing early versions of golf. He believed this new pastime was a dangerous distraction that weakened the nation's military readiness. As a result, he issued a strict royal decree banning both golf and soccer to ensure the troops would stay focused on their combat skills. It would appear that royal decree, though, didn't really put a stop to the play because it was reaffirmed by subsequent monarchs, showing people really did like to hit the links. King James III and King James IV both issued similar decrees in 1471 and 1491 to keep the public focused on archery, but they were eventually lifted in 1502 when King James IV signed the Treaty of Perpetual Peace with England. After that, everyone was free to play, and King James IV himself became an avid golfer shortly after lifting the ban. He even made the first recorded purchase of golf equipment, commissioning a bowmaker to craft him a set of custom golf clubs. Number 2. Golf balls have hundreds of dimples because a textured surface is actually more aerodynamic. Golf balls were originally perfectly smooth, but players soon realized that adding dimples allowed the balls to travel much further. By the mid 1800s, golfers noticed that old, scuffed, and dented balls consistently outperformed brand new, perfectly smooth ones. It was kind of surprising, but it led players to intentionally carve patterns and grooves into their equipment to maximize their driving distance. Eventually, manufacturers caught on and began designing balls with specific, uniform dimple patterns to replicate the aerodynamic effect. Today, a standard golf ball has between 300 and 500 dimples covering its entire surface to optimize its flight path. Now, you might be wondering, why does this help? Well, basically, as a smooth ball flies through the air, it creates a wake of low pressure behind it, which pulls the ball backwards and slows it down. The dimples on a golf ball agitate the air, creating a thin layer of clinging turbulence that helps the air flow smoothly around the back of the sphere. This significantly reduces the drag forces and allows the ball to maintain its speed and trajectory for a longer period of time. Number 3. Mathematicians say the odds of an amateur golfer hitting a hole-in-one are about 1 in 12,500. A hole-in-one is considered the ultimate accomplishment in golf, but statistically, it's very unlikely. Insurance companies and sports statisticians have calculated that the average amateur golfer faces odds of about 1 in 12,500 to sink a tee shot. This means that a casual player could theoretically play thousands of rounds over their lifetime without ever experiencing the thrill of a hole-in-one. Even professional golfers on the PGA Tour face steep odds. Their chances are about 1 in 3,000 for any given par 3 hole. Of course, while it's unlikely, it's anything but impossible, and golf history is filled with remarkable and mind-boggling hole-in-one records that defy statistical logic. For instance, an amateur golfer named Norman Manley holds the unofficial world record for 59 documented holes-in-one over his lifetime. And possibly even more amazingly, in 1989, 4 different professional players sank holes-in-one on the exact same hole during the same round of the US Open. Because the event is so rare, some insurance companies even offer specialized hole-in-one coverage for charity tournaments to pay out massive prize money. Number 4. As of the time of this recording, golf is the only sport to have been played on the surface of the moon. Golf is officially the only sport to have ever been played outside Earth's atmosphere, thanks to the Apollo 14 mission in 1971. The astronaut Alan Shepard famously smuggled a modified 6-iron club head on board the spacecraft by hiding it inside a specially adapted athletic sock. After completing his primary scientific objectives, Shepard attached the club head to the handle of a lunar excavation tool to create a makeshift golf club. He then dropped 2 golf balls onto the dusty lunar surface and took a few one-handed swings in his bulky, pressurized spacesuit. The moment was broadcast on live TV, cementing golf's unique place in the history of human space exploration. The weakened gravity on the moon allowed Shepard's golf shots to achieve distances that would be impossible on Earth. Because the moon has only about 1/6 of Earth's gravity and no atmospheric drag to slow the ball down, projectiles behave very differently up there. Shepard famously said his second shot traveled miles and miles across the lunar landscape. A modern image analysis suggests the ball actually traveled a few hundred yards, which is still incredibly impressive for a one-handed swing in a stiff spacesuit. And both of those historic golf balls remain on the moon to this day. And our 5th and final fun fact for today, the world record for the longest golf drive in a professional tournament is over 500 yards. During the U.S. National Seniors Tournament at Winterwood Golf Course in Las Vegas in 1974, Michael Hoke Austin launched the ball 515 yards. At the time, Austin was 64 years old, which just makes it all the more incredible. He used a specialized persimmon wood driver with an extra long steel shaft to generate massive clubhead speed during his swing. While people would normally love to hit the ball as far as they possibly can, in this case, it wasn't so great. The ball traveled completely past the green on a 450-yard par 4, landing well beyond the intended target area. Austin's record-breaking drive was aided by a combination of perfect biomechanics, specialized equipment, and highly favorable environmental conditions. He had spent decades studying and perfecting a highly efficient golf swing. Also, the high elevation of Las Vegas meant the air was thinner, providing less aerodynamic resistance to slow the ball down during its flight. A strong tailwind of about 35 miles an hour also helped to carry the ball significantly further than it would have gone during calm conditions. Despite modern advancements in titanium drivers and optimized golf balls, Austin's 1974 record remains unbroken in professional tournament play, at least as of the time of this recording. Now for some news you can use. If you want to keep your clubs playing their best for as long as possible, one of the best tips I can give you is to clean them using warm water and a mild dish soap when they get dirty. Many amateur golfers make the mistake of soaking their clubs in very hot or boiling water to loosen the dirt trapped in the grooves, but exposing the club head to extreme heat can break down the specialized epoxy that holds the metal head to the shaft. It can also damage the plastic ferrule located just above the hosel, leading to costly repairs and unstable equipment. Instead, a brief soak in lukewarm, soapy water followed by a gentle scrub with a soft bristled plastic brush is really the best course. And keeping those grooves of your clubs completely free of dirt, sand, and grass is essential for precise and accurate shots on the course. The grooves of the golf club act very much like the treads on a car tire, channeling moisture and debris away from the point of impact. When those grooves are clogged, the club face can't grip the golf ball efficiently, resulting in a severe loss of backspin and control. So, a simple maintenance routine with a little warm, soapy water and a scrub brush will ultimately translate to better ball striking, more predictable trajectories, and lower numbers on your scorecard. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, was the term birdie coined after a golfer accidentally hit a bird mid-flight? This one's a fallacy. No birds were harmed in the making of golf terminology. In the late 19th century, the word bird was popular American slang used to describe something excellent or wonderful, much like how we might use the word cool or awesome. In 1899, an American golfer named Abner Smith hit a spectacular shot at the Atlantic City Country Club and exclaimed, "That was a bird of a shot." The phrase caught on quickly among players to describe a score of 1 under par. And they then continued to develop, an avian theme with their scoring. Golfers added other bird names to describe even better scores. An eagle was adopted to represent 2 strokes under par, and later the term albatross was introduced for the even more rare 3 strokes under par. And before we wrap things up, here's just one last little bonus fact about quirky golf terms. The word caddy actually has military roots. In the 1500s, Mary, Queen of Scots, was an avid golfer who grew up in France, and she brought young French military assistants known as cadets to Scotland to carry her heavy wooden clubs. The Scottish locals eventually altered the French pronunciation of cadet, which they would have called cadet, into the word caddy, giving us the term we still use today. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about golf with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.